Hello everyone and welcome to another Warhammer 40k, not a battle report. This is a podcast, Nathan. Jesus Christ. I think the start of every single one of these has been fudged. Welcome to our Noosphere podcast. This
Just
time we're...
shorten it to welcome. Just welcome.
Yeah, welcome, yeah.
Just welcome, yeah.
We are interrupting our standard broadcasting to bring you some conversation on the latest balanced Dataslate from November. Which sort of, I was quite glad that I added a lot of my caveats in the Why You Should Play Orcs podcast, because pretty much everything I said you should be aware of came true, which is fine, which is good, which means that video is still relevant, which is always nice. So yeah, a couple of things happen with this, but before we do that, if you want to join our small community, you can find us at discord.gg/all those garbled letters in the overlay. If you would like to support the channel, you can find us at patreon.com/lightning assault, and you'll get access to our Discord and some extra voice chat channels, and you'll be able to listen in live on our podcast without jumping on YouTube or anything. If you would like to have your shit painted by the Mad Magos, you can go to fiverr.com/madmagospaints. He's currently doing a mission for our boy Little Willie for some Drakari, and then he will be smashing his face against a shitload of orcs. Aside from that, you can check out the media at lightningassaultmedia.com. Other than that, boys, how's it going? What are we doing? What have we been doing?
All good. Like I said, having a bit play with Dan's Drakari. I have also been building some Necrons of my own. Richie Stroke, my Necron army is almost built, and soon to be painted in between the aforementioned commissions. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a black and pink scheme.
Nice. What kind of dynasty are you going for? What kind of build are you running around?
So as far as the dynasty goes, I think I'm just gonna keep it open, and just a bit like a custom dynasty, and then I can just pick and choose whatever takes me fancy. It's one of the reasons, along with the fact that Rachel picked the color palette for them. I'm doing it that way. It's primarily going to be heavy scarabs and warriors, a bit like yours. But I am going to throw in a few canoptic units in. So I've already got some canoptic wraiths built. I've got the Scorpic Lord and Destroyers. And I want a few canoptic spiders as well.
Oh yeah, the guys that revive scarab swarms.
The scarabs, yeah.
The scarab swarms for the deny.
Yeah, and I probably will get my hand on maybe another squad of wraiths at some point, because I quite like a big blob of wraiths.
Yeah, they have the really high end one, don't they? Or they used to. I can't remember.
They used to.
They're a nuisance to kill, aren't they?
Yeah, because they've got the phase, so the fast. Yeah. I'm sure that they kind of ignore terrain and buildings as the phase in and out of reality, so they don't have any movement penalties per se. I mean, for anybody that knows them, I think they're fairly straightforward to deal with, but they are a bit of a Carnifex style unit. Like, people look at them and go, "Oh, I've got to deal with them." They're a good distraction unit.
Yeah, and they're fast. They're just a nuisance unit. They're designed to be a ball ache.
Yeah, a ball ache. And with all the shenanigans that I'm sure we're going to get into with Necrons getting coal, destroyers are a thing now, aren't they?
Yeah,
definitely. Destroyer lords and what do you call the guys with the big blades?
Oh, Scorpex.
Scorpex destroyers, that's it. As opposed to the shooty destroyers, yeah.
I do need to at some point get hold of some Locust destroyers, I think. Because the one thing that my list lacks critically is any kind of ranged anti-elite, anti-armor file.
Mm.
So yeah, but that'll be a plan for the future. Dan, how have you been going in and out the hobby?
I've been going in and out of various
orifices.
No, I've been taking it slow. This time I've actually managed to do some stuff. I'm working on my my Harlequins, trying to finish them off for Thursday. It's looking promising so far. Yeah, I'm just really excited to give the Harlequins a go. Most of the colors are sort of blocked in. It's just picking out the details now and finishing off the craft world units, because I'm planning to run the more meta lists, shall we say, for Harlequin. So with that involves craft world support. So 3 units of Dark Reapers and 2 units of Shining Spears and Farseer and Bike.
Yeah.
So it's just excited to give those a go, and then I'll probably start painting Craft World.
Nice. Then the fast boys can grace the channel for the first time ever.
Absolutely.
And everything will go flawlessly, of course.
Never.
So jumping right into the balanced data slate. This came hot off the heels of the big old questionnaire. One of the questions was, how often would you like the rules to be updated? And based on the Warcom article that said that they're going to update the rules quarterly, I gather that's what everybody voted for.
I'll be honest, I did. I voted quarterly.
Yeah, I did. A lot of people voted for monthly as well, I think, based on some of the Reddit threads. But yeah, I think they ended up with quarterly, and that's how they're doing things going forward. So the first port of call is we're getting what, 2 FAQs a year, 1 chapter approved every year, and then 4 balanced data slates a year, which seems fine.
It's reasonable.
I'm really pleased.
Yeah,
I'm really pleased about it. I think it's what the game needs.
Yeah. The only thing that I would err on the side of is there are a few things FAQ wise that could be FAQ'd within an instant. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of fucky rules that could have been clarified by GW, like as a matter of course, like very easily, but they chose to wait until the FAQs. And sometimes it's a little bit frustrating to wait for 6 months for something to be clarified. So maybe, who knows? Maybe they intend to add a few bits and bobs like that into the balanced data slates. Who knows? Anyway, the first rule of the duel is the aircraft limit. So for up to 1,000 points, you can have 1 aircraft. Up to 2,000 points, you can have 2, and up to 3,000 points, you can have 3 aircraft. This is primarily a nerf to Adeptus Mechanicus and Orcs with their many Dakar Jets and Stratoraptors. How are we feeling about the planes?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it. I think that's a very sledgehammer way of solving an issue. Because it that's not how you balance a faction, by nerfing everyone. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. What about the factions that want to run planes but don't abuse the crap out of them?
So here's the issue. In the Warcom community article, they said 2 aircraft units, 3 aircraft units, right? In the balanced data slate, it says 2 aircraft models, which is an issue for Imperial Guard because Valkyries.
See, now with that, what I would like to have seen is maybe when either the next revisit it or possibly when the Guard actually get the codex that they change it to, because they just changed the Valkyrie to like flying squadron. Because let's be honest, Valkyrie flyers spam, like for things like Tempested Scions.
Yeah,
It's not a competitive build. It's a fluffy build.
It's just
And
a
I'm sure,
flying rhino with a shitty las cannon and a couple of
and I mean,
missiles.
just to try and play devil's advocate, bear in mind, you don't have to use these rules in a friendly setting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is just for a tournament setting. And how many tournament lists have you seen doing flying Valkyries? Yes, if you've got that army and you were thinking about taking it to a tournament, I totally understand the frustration, and I get where you're coming from. But let's bear in mind that this update is primarily supposed to balance the competitive play.
Yes, but that goes both ways.
In what
Right.
sense?
What if I wanted to play friendly and I wanted to play 3 Darker Jets? Because that's the models I like best. And the rest of the army ain't great, but that's what I want to play. It goes both ways.
Then you smash the shit out of your opponent because you have 3 Daka Jets.
My point is, right, the people that play friendlies like that are not going to play at the highest caliber, right? So it's irrelevant almost. I think when you're like playing, kitchen table Warhammer with like your own rules, you're not going to be playing super hardcore by the books anyway. So it's not like at that point I don't think balance even matters. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying. I just think I do agree with what you said, being a bit of a sledgehammer thing. I mean, there is certain factions where, like you say, flyer spam was a thing. Orcs and Admech being the obvious two. Maybe they should have tried fixing it by changing the actual points and not a limitation on the amount of models. I think that probably would have been a more sensible approach, but we don't know how much time or thought or effort actually went into this based on the fact that it was such a quick response after the actual questionnaire.
100%, like I would bet my left nut that FAQ Dataslate was in the mix long before the thing came out. There's no way if they had the the questionnaire answers and made changes to the game based on that. That's just really poor optics on their part. That means they can make these changes so damn fast, but they can't be dicked, and that's even worse.
If you ask me, I think it's probably been a case they were on a fence about a couple of the things on there, and then maybe he's used that data as a last minute chop and change on maybe one or two of the things. But I think it's probably there for the next time round.
I think I probably would have just reduced the amount of flyers you could have per detachment. Instead of saying only 2 flyers per army in 2,000 points.
That's even worse, right? Because if your army's based around the battalion.
Well, then
you really wanted those,
you have to bring 3 patrols.
Yeah, if you really want.
No one but Drukhari brings 3 patrols.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
No, so the one reason I don't like the change, but I do like the change overall, is that it reduces the number of aircraft you can use when you're playing match play, whatever. Fine, that fixes it fundamentally fixes competitive play, but it does not fix kitchen table Warhammer. So the absolutely broken Star Raptor spam, Daka Jet spam, can still be done on kitchen table if they ignore the balanced data slate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think people at kitchen table are going to play like meta lists, are they?
Yeah.
You're not going to bring fucking super meta lists to
I just don't like it when they write in their article, oh, if you're playing on the kitchen table, you can ignore these rules. No, fuck off. No. Don't fragment your player base into, oh, you can use these rules while these people have to use these rules. It's dumb. Super dumb.
Well, I don't know. I mean, to me, the stating the obvious anyway, because you can choose. I mean, you can choose to ignore or include rules. I mean, a prime example.
Yeah, but why?
A prime example of what we do. how many times do we forget? Like you say, we were talking the other week about how dull set to defend and stuff is. How many times does that rule
that's
get
a very different thing. That's just like, excusing an opponent's mistake. That's not
that's forgetting a game
fundamentally.
mechanic. Not I'm going to ignore these point changes because I'm allowed to ignore these point changes because this document says I'm allowed to ignore these point changes if I'm playing casually. Like, that's just bizarre. Really bizarre. Anyway, it did at the very least unfuck the flyer spam. And we'll have to see how that actually affects the meta, I suppose.
Now it's you're going to get blasted by Sisters of Battle and Grey Knights instead.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they'll say you're only allowed 2 Grey Knight Dread Knights, what they're called. Grandmaster Dread Knights.
Well, I'm surprised the left. Yeah, I'm surprised the left Dread Knights alone. To be honest,
it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a weird way to solve an issue.
Yeah.
It should go, oh, Timmy, did you play with the wrong toy? That's it. No one's allowed to play with that toy anymore.
The next change is, we'll go in alphabetical order. The next change is point updates for Adeptus Mechanicus. How are we feeling about the points changes?
Goodbye, brother. Goodbye, my friend. Actually, I should be singing that for Drukhari. But...
Yeah. I mean, it was basically the planes going up, the troops went up by 1 point each.
Which,
and a few other bits. The Skitarii Marshal went up by like 10 points. Basically, if you played your Admech army, you've now lost approximately 100 to 150 points worth of models.
Yeah, good. I think that's a fair.
Which I think is fair. The troops, as we witnessed on Thursday, are just ruthlessly efficient. Ass blasting everything. With their strats, even with the strats being nerfed, and obviously the flyers causing people to lose like half their army turn 1. Everyone complained that the Admech troops were so point efficient per model with their movement, their ballistic skill, their saves, the types of weapons they had, that they were just out of whack. But other than that,
and as an Admech player, I just don't understand. Like I say, going back, they do tie into one another. I would have just made the copters that much more expensive rather than putting a cap on it, and you could have done the same with your Dacker jets.
Yeah, I think they were trying to be clever and solve
a problem with 2, but no, they were solving 1 bird with 2 stones. That's exactly what they've done.
Exactly.
They've killed a bird with 2 stones.
2 stones, yeah.
Well, they killed like 1.5 birds with 2 stones.
Yeah.
Because I think they were trying to solve both orcs and... Yeah, I don't think that was the real issue.
Yeah. I would have just bumped up the cost of the planes by quite a bit.
Up until very recently, and even after this, planes themselves are not that great. Like you can't hold points with them. They might get you engaged early.
Or not? No, you can't. You can't get engaged with planes, can you?
You can. You can't get line breaker with planes.
Yeah.
Line breaker is it?
They get you engaged, and that's about it. So the only reason people are running the Orc and the Admech ones is because they're just so points efficient.
Yeah, because they obliterate what
they not that. It was just there was Admech as well that had unlimited amount of bombing runs.
Yes, that still hasn't been changed, and it confuses me to great effect. Admech planes can bomb infinitely. Meanwhile, every other plane in the entire game cannot. Just really weird.
Because the Admech manages the builder bombs while they're flying.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, that was whack. That was definitely the weirdest change.
Whack, you're right.
That didn't happen. But other than that, I was totally fine with the Admech changes. Yeah.
At all.
Next on the list is Astra Militarum. Pretty
Ooh.
interesting changes here.
Mm.
Lehman Russ save going up to a 2-up. I have positives and negatives about this. The negatives are, why didn't my fucking Baneblade get it?
Definitely.
Please,
Because
God.
it's not a Lehman Russ,
Please
obviously.
give me my Baneblade 2+ save. Please. We talk about this a lot, but me and Dan are just convinced that DW have a hate boner for the Baneblade chassis.
It's not just the Baneblade. It's I think they way overvalue Lords of War.
Yeah. I feel like they don't want people to play them in a competitive setting. They only want people to play Lords of War in a casual setting.
Yeah, you say that, but then they make Mortarion. So.
But
he's a Primarch. Oh.
Yeah, he's a Primarch, not a Lord of War.
He's a Lord of War.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
He's a Supreme Commander.
Yeah, he fills the Lord of War.
What?
Yeah. He's a Lord of War.
I'm sorry.
You take him.
Oh, what the fuck?
You take him as a Supreme Commander, yeah. So then you don't.
He's a Lord of War.
Yeah, he's always been Lord of War. But yeah, him and Magnus were like the exceptions.
Yeah.
Every other Lord of War just sucked.
Huh.
So yeah, I want to see the Baneblades be good.
Yeah.
I want to see my lanky knights be good.
Well, your lanky knights are getting good.
No, sorry. When I say lanky, I should be more specific. The Wraith Knight.
The Eldar. I got you. Yeah, I would like to see like every faction be able to bring one Lord of War and do average at least. Yeah, like if you don't want to make them super competitive, that's fine. But like at least make them like a.
There can be struck a balance, right? Because you do give up quite a lot for a Lord of War slot right now, right? You spend 3 CP, it's usually like a quarter of your army, which means that board control is that much harder. Like, it's not,
Yeah.
So they either need to super blast ass or be very, very tanky, right? Yeah. But at the moment, they do like neither.
Yeah.
Except for Mortari.
Pretty much. But yeah, Lehman Russes are now a bit more durable. They're now getting a.
Well, yeah, and then you start mixing things like astro paths and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that too becomes like potentially one up.
A 1-up, yeah.
1-up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think you're gonna see a lot more Lehman Russes on the table. I mean, I was. Yeah, I think you might even see. I mean, think about when we tend to play with Lehman Russes, you're running a couple of commanders.
Yeah.
And you've got to now take into account that those commanders can issue orders to your Manticores, to your Death Strike, so they become.
Say that.
What?
You say that. They can. Technically, yes. So the second part of this Astra Militarum edit is that tank commanders can issue orders to any regiment vehicle within 6. But keep in mind that the wording excludes Titanics and no Baneblade orders. Bear in mind the wording on a couple of the orders is specifically turret weapon. So the reroll 1s to hit is turret weapons only. Now the Manticore and the Death Strike do not have turret weapons, therefore they do not get affected by that order.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes, you can order other vehicles, but it's going to be a case of reroll number of shots, I think, is viable. Yeah. Strike and Shroud, which is the move, shoot and then move, or smoke and shoot, and the defensive gunners, which is Can't remember. Is that the one for Overwatch?
Defense. No, gun skill on sight is the strat. The trait. Say it again.
1 second.
Isn't that the move shoot move one? Because
1
there's a
second.
move shoot move and there's a move pop smoke.
Voice of command. Why is this not near anything else? That's weird. The tank orders aren't near any of the infantry orders. Huh, I don't know. But yeah, so the reroll hit rolls of 1 doesn't work on Manticores. So yes, that change is a double-edged change.
Yeah.
So you're a bit limited.
You can still run. You still allow you to move your chimeras up a whole lot faster. Grab objectives that little bit, like maybe a turn earlier, or actually, I tell you what it might actually have an impact on. Bane wolves and not chimeras, hellhounds.
Oh, here we go. Full throttle. Instead of shooting, immediately move as if it were the movement phase, and it must advance as part of that move. So basically, a vehicle can move and then get a second advance. Gunner's kill on sight, which is reroll hit rolls of 1. And strike and shroud, which is shoot and use smoke launchers.
Shoot and use smoke launchers, right? So move, shoot, and pop smoke. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't shoot, which is viable, like you said, for your chimeras. So your chimera can advance. What is it like? Potentially 16 inches, and then advance again another 16 inches, which is kind of cool. Or you can pop smoke and shoot, which is probably not a half bad idea for some of the manticores, especially if they can be shot at.
Yeah.
But,
and then you've got the.
But keep in mind that the tank commander only gets one order. So if he's not ordering himself, what are you gaining?
This is true.
That's the only thing that I'm not fond of about this, is that the tank commander usually wants to order himself to reroll once.
Yeah, no, that's true. So it's probably just turn 1. You might move, like you say, the chimera.
Yeah, super fast, just to grab a point first turn. Other than that, there's not much else to it. The only other change is that when a officer that has the voice of command ability issues an order to a unit, any other unit within 6 inches of that original unit is affected by the same order, with the exception of move. Move is not included.
Which is fair enough.
Yes, because that would be dumb as fuck. But, if you order a squad to first rank fire, second rank fire, every other squad within 6 gets the same order. Which is kind of cool. It makes your orders a little bit more matter, just a little bit more.
I think this might have an effect on guard squads in the sense of you might start to see more multiple small squads as opposed to big blobs.
What do you mean?
Well, as it stands at the minute, because obviously, like I say, any other unit can, within 6 inches of the original unit, can be ordered now, rather than taking big blobs of 20 guardsmen.
Nobody takes.
Nobody takes 20 guardsmen.
You usually use 10, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can take blobs, can't you?
No. You can only the squad comes as 10, and you can only take 10.
Oh, shut up then. See, that's because I play more tanks than anything else. I like you could take
I think
blobs of
you
guards.
used to be able to. I think in 8th edition you used to be able to take them in 20.
You can use a stratagem.
Conscript, man.
You can use a stratagem to combine 2 squads of 10 guardsmen into a squad of 20.
20. Yeah. I'll shut up. Just ignore us.
Yeah, no, fine. So yeah, it's a nice change. I think it just means that one of the main issues I had with my with some of my list building is I would always try and fit enough company commanders in so that I could issue orders to all the squads that I had in the list. So I used to run. In fact, I do run 80 Cadians. So I used to run at least 3. 90 Cadians. So I used to run at least 3 company commanders so I could issue 2 orders across each of the commanders or whatever. But now it means I can probably just run 2 tops and be done with it, which is a nice change. Very small changes to Imperial Guard, but still welcome ones. The tank commander getting a 2-up, I hope, is a precursor to Baneblades becoming not poop. But yeah, Lehman Russes will get a save on melters and las cannons and all sorts of shit, and plasma as well. So good shit. The next change, which I'm especially fond of and makes me want to start another army, is the Chaos Space Marines, Death to the False Emperor. Now,
very interesting change.
Now, when the Chaos Space Marines are against Tau, they're going to scream "Death to the False Emperor" at the Tau.
Yeah.
And the Tau are like, "What the fuck?" Oh, it's going to be like that meme of the 2 women shouting at the cat, and the cat's like, "What? What emperor are you talking? Bruh, there's no emperor here. Why are you hitting me?"
Before they get summarily executed.
So basically, Death to the False Emperor happens against every opponent, which I think is a fantastic change because, frankly, having an army that's really good against one specific faction in the game because of some random fucking ability is just dumb. All Chaos Space Marines getting exploding hitses. Fucking hell. I'm turning into an orc. Speaking of orcs, it's literally orcs daka, but for goth. In fact, they're goths. They literally made Chaos Space Marine goths because goths get exploding 6s in melee, don't they?
No, they made everyone part of the Imperium. It's what they've done, Nathan.
Yes, pretty much.
You are either Chaos or Imperium. Xenos are no such thing. They're part of the Imperium now.
Pretty much.
There's no middle ground.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Even Chaos is part of
the Imperium. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Oh, can you imagine? Like, fucking Khorne Berserkers attacking fucking Black Legion saying, "Death to the False Emperor!" And they're like, "Wait, we're on your side."
Spider-Man. Insert Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man meme here.
Yeah. I'm excited for World Eaters. Like, this change on World Eaters is so fucking spicy.
Yeah, if only they had the... Actually, no, they still have the extra attack on charge, don't they?
Yes, Hateful Assault, yep. So, Khorne Berserkers, let me just check this. And the nice part about this change is it generates an additional hit, not an additional attack.
Yeah. So even it's just straight up a damage buff in general.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's very nice. So Khorne Berserkers get 2 attacks, 3 on the charge, 4 from the chainsword, and then an extra. They fight twice, so they actually get like 8 attacks each. And then they're generating additional attacks on 6s. So each...
That's an extra 1.5 attack.
Yeah. So each Khorne Berserker is putting out around about 10 attacks. And in a squad of 10? That's 100 attacks.
Wouldn't it be nice?
They're almost as good as witches, Nathan.
That makes me sad, Panda. That makes my big chopper the little chopper.
Oh, the bubbas. What about the? I want to say the Galvo back, but it's not the Galvo back. Oh,
The what now?
not the right. So the Galvo back, the like possessed world eaters, but like meatier, but it's not them. But they look like the Galvo back. It came in that box set where it was the Chaos box set where they give big. He's basically like a beat stick champion.
Oh, you mean the other version of Obliterators?
Oh,
yes.
Or are you talking about Chaos Spawn?
No, I'm talking about the other version. That's right, the other version of the Obliterators. Like I say, I call them
They're called
Galvo backs.
Mutilators, is it?
That's the one, Mutilators.
Yeah. They'd probably become quite tasty now.
Yeah, I haven't witnessed Mutilators in a very long time.
No, that's because they're dog shit.
Yeah.
Obliterators just better.
Yeah.
Actual heavy support that does something.
Yeah. Other than that, whack, absolutely fucking whack. They didn't get their extra wound. But that would involve changing the points cost of all of their models, which would probably be a bit too much for a small balanced data slate. So everyone was bitching they didn't get their second wound, but yeah.
To be honest, right? If they didn't get this, we changed to Force Emperor, and then they just got 2 extra wounds, they'll still be dog shit. I don't think that would make the army viable or much more viable.
I mean, there are the odd chaos lists that do get in the top 4, but they generally play a really like wacky list that no one has an.
I was going to say that was the good Lord of Skulls, wasn't it? And
Lord of Skulls and
they don't even run
Decimators.
Troops.
Yeah. So yeah, I would have liked to have seen them get their second win, but I assume they're trying to save that for when they get their new codex in the new year.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the whips and chains Drukhari points increases. Dan, did you pay much attention to the points increases?
Yeah, of course. It's big. It's big stuff.
How is it?
I think it's good. Like I said, I think the army was very undercosted. So what is it? The witches went up by 2 points a pop, which is spicy but understandable. It means that they're no longer like the default best unit.
Yeah.
I think this is just gonna shake the meta up for Drukhari, which is good. So witches. So what changed is the succubus went up by quite a bit. The witches went up. The succubi went up, but only by 5 points each. So it's not a big change because they were so dirt cheap. Like they was just super cheap as a unit. So, what else went up? The Dark Lance went up on the Raiders.
Oh yeah.
So the base cost of the Raiders stayed the same. It's just the Dark Lance that went up. What else has changed?
Isn't it the Dark Lance on the? Is it the Incubi? Not the Incubi. Not the Talos. The weird looking things.
No, the Talos went down in points. Yeah. So the Talos went down in points. The Archon went up in points as well. The Homunculus went down in points, which is nice. The Succubus baseline now is 80 points, which is pretty spicy. But that's about it. The 2 flyers for Drukhari went down in points as well. So Void Raven Bomber and the Razor Wing Jet Fighter have gone down in points.
Oh, okay. Cool. That's interesting. I like those models.
Yeah, and I think some other random crap went down, like because the Razor Wing Flocks went down in points or something. It's whatever. Yeah.
Oh,
but
you've just reminded me. We forgot to mention the Castellan robots went down in price for Admech.
Yeah, the Admech had a few points changes. But yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So it just means that it's not going to be a heavy witch spam. The lists are going to be a bit more
varied.
Varied. Sorry, another thing that went down in points that surprised me was the what they call the heavy sports.
For the Ravagers?
Just went down in points to a base like 130.
Okay.
And their Darklands didn't go up in points.
Oh, okay. So now we're at a stage where, after they purposefully made all weapons the same cost, they've now diverged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an odd one, but it's fine. It just means that that I think the issue with Drukhari is they were very undercosted, and then the transports were kind of doing too many things at once, right? Because there were like really good transports that had open top, so people started spamming like Trueborn in them with like really good ballistic skill and all the heavy weapons. And then you had the Darklands on top of the Raider, so it's just like they did a lot. And now to me it makes more sense that if you want Darklands, you put on the Ravager, right? It's a platform for heavy weapons, so it's good. I mean,
utilitarian.
Yeah, I mean, Grotesques went down in points as well. So I think we're going to see a lot more homunculus coven armies, which is good. People are already experimenting with them. Kronos went up in points. So we'll see less weird. Again, people were playing Kronos because they were putting the Kronos has a flamer. You run them with dark technomancers, so you get saucy flamers.
Yeah.
So now you kind of have to pay a bit more of a premium for those. But the Talos went down in points, which is good. I would like to play more Talos because I think it's such a cool model, and I can. Was it the after the weird nerf to Haywire blasters that they had? I think everyone's running heat lancers
but
now.
Talos make my orcs hurty.
Yeah, that was good times. That was good times.
Chain flails, nightmares of chain flails.
I think chain flails. I'm not sure if chain flails are still like as good as they were. I think a lot of people I've seen just take double macro scalpels.
Yeah.
But chain flails are still like if you need some horde melting, they're pretty good. Yeah. So all in all, I think the homunculi coven were just a bit underpowered, and they brought them back up.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's great. I think we're going to see a lot more variety in Drukhari.
Yeah. It was nice to see a balanced data sheet that brought things up at the same time as nerfing others.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
And James, other James, Hackerguard, the captain of the Merchants Guild, makes a good point about Necrons. Because Scorpec Destroyers are now core, the Technomancer that can resurrect D3 core models per round can now just straight up bring D3 Destroyers back at the start of every turn.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Which is pretty good, which makes me want to change my list because I removed my Technomancer. Anyway, moving on to Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights. The change that me and Dan have been banging on about for fucking ages.
This is where you spam the WoW soundboard.
I don't have the soundboard wired into Discord or anything, so I don't think it will play through for everyone.
You were doing it the other night and it was working.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think if I play it, the viewers will hear it, but you guys won't. As it stands at the moment. But yeah, so the change that they made, they actually went a little bit further, which I quite liked. Here we go. Let me just play the anime WoW sound. There we go. You guys didn't hear that, did you?
No.
No. So the big knights don't get OBSEC, but they do count as 5 models. So no longer...
10.
Oh, 10, sorry.
It's 10.
10, and the baby ones count as 5.
But they get OBSEC.
Yeah. Which means that a huge Chaos Knight is no longer trumped by a shitty squad of 5 infiltrators. Which is nice, which is a welcome change. Knights being able to hold objectives, and then the baby Knights get OBSEC if your entire army is
Knights.
It has the Knights keyword. And you can also bring... you can still bring assassins, and you'll still get your OBSEC. They didn't fuck that up. In case you wanted to bring, chairman alongside a bunch of knights. Yeah, there's not much to say about this. It's been needed for a long time, and I hope it means that knights become not garbage.
It would be, I don't know, it's still like, it helps, but I don't think it's gonna make knights like, it doesn't bring them that much higher up. They still struggle with secondary objectives, as in they give away easy secondaries, and it's very hard to pick secondaries with them. In fact, you have almost no choice because you still can't perform actions with them, or anything like that. So you're still like stuck with like engage on all fronts. Fucking struggle snuggle. I don't know. You don't have much of a choice.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe there'll be some.
Maybe someday.
The die-hard Knights players will still appreciate it. I mean, it's still a buff for nothing, so you can't complain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Next up is, as we mentioned, Necron good stuff. A bunch of Necrons got the core keyword. This doesn't seem like a huge change, but if you look at the original Necron Codex, they had three units with core, which is absolutely fucking retarded. It just seemed bizarre to me that so few things had core in the Necron Codex, and this added Canoptic Acanthrites, whatever that is. Canoptic Reanimator, which is the thing that dies instantaneously every turn. Canoptic Wraiths, which is, Wraiths. We know Wraiths. Flayed Ones. I could not believe Flayed Ones were not core already. That one caught me out. Locust Destroyers, Locust Heavy Destroyers, Ophidian Destroyers, which are the melee destroyers. Scorpic Destroyers, which are the other melee destroyers. And Triarch Praetorians, which are basically Necron Blade Guard. This means that destroyers can be touched by My Will Be Done, which is +1 to hit, as well as Relentless March. And it means they can all get resurrected by the Technomancer, as well as shitloads of other stuff. So Veil of Darkness as well, the teleport, affects core units. So it means you can give Veil of Darkness to a Scorpec Lord, and he can now teleport himself and a huge squad of 6 or 10 Scorpec Destroyers across the board.
That's nasty.
And I think he has you can give him a Warlord trait so they can reroll charge rolls as well.
I don't like it.
Yeah. It's
all flayed ones. Flayed ones?
Yeah.
I thought flayed ones already have deep strike though, don't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but that doesn't it let you deep strike them within 3 now?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it was. Oh no, that's no. Okay, I'll show. That's the flyer, isn't it, that lets them do that?
Oh, the Doom Scythe, the Croissant, the Death Croissant.
Transporting Death
Croissant. Let me just check the Void Scythe, because the Void Scythe is a double-edged. Oh, Night Scythe, isn't it? It's a double-edged sword because you can. It can teleport stuff. Yeah, 3 inches of the Night Scythe.
Yeah.
It's 1 CP, Prismatic Dimensional Breach. But if the Night Scythe dies, then you can't bring those
in it.
Yeah. So which is a bit fucky. Hacker Guard mentioned that it's up to 7 Locust Destroyers that you can have in a squad. So yeah.
Damn.
So it's a lot of damage. So yeah, next time I play Necrons, I'll be bringing a huge stack of Scorpecs with me and a Scorpec Lord, and seeing how that works. It's quite nice because there's loads of strats for the big melee destroyer blobs and stuff like that, like +1 to hit rolls and all sorts of shit. So it's suddenly taken a codex and turned it upside down with just one simple change, which is really nice. And yeah, like Hacker God has mentioned again, Zarek, the Night King. Fuck me, this isn't Game of Thrones. The Silent King now affects shitloads of stuff because all of his abilities were just caught. Most of his abilities were caught.
Yeah.
Now he slaps a lot of shit. Finally.
Now he fucks.
Now he does fuck. Finally, and I should probably get one. But, you know, I've got too much of this shit to deal with first. One day, I'll bring him. Finally, orcs. This is not the change I expected at all. I expected them just to increase the points cost of all the buggies by a fair amount because they're still horrendously cheap for what they do. But you can only bring one of each unit, not model unit. So you can bring 3 buggies of every kind in your list.
People are gonna, instead of bringing 9, they're just gonna bring 3 in every army. It's fine.
Yeah. So what people were doing before is they would bring 18 squig buggies. Now they're gonna bring like 3 squig buggies, 3 scrap jets, 3 dragsters, and 3 booster blasters or whatever. So people will still run buggies because they're still really cheap and they're still really good. Granted, they're not all as broken as the squig buggies, but I mean the shock jump dragsters and the mega track scrap jets are still amazing with the mortal wounds on the charge and the teleporting all over the place. So I feel like the change was not the right change. I mean, it's fine. It hasn't changed my list at all, and I'm sure lots of people appreciate that they're not going against 50 bajillion squig buggies. But the points should have probably been changed on them.
I'm
Right.
starting to actually appreciate the way they've done these changes. Actually, maybe it does make more sense to change the rules that way. So then your models don't become obsolete. Just popped into my head. So now instead of buying 18 buggies and then being complete fucking useless, you can still run 3 of them.
Because they're still good. Yeah, that's a good point.
So maybe it's not that bad. So your bomb jets are still good, right? Your other fucking thing.
I'm still gonna run 2 Dakar jets. I'm still gonna run 3 scrap jets, and I'm still gonna run shock jump dragsters if I have the points. I never bought squig buggies because I assumed they'd get nerfed down to the ground. Maybe now's the time to buy 3 of them. Who knows?
Well, I'm guessing people are probably going to sell them now because
they've got excess.
They've got excess. Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen any on eBay, so if you've got 18 squig buggies, please put them up on eBay so that I may purchase them.
I'm guessing people are waiting to like finish off the current tournament that they're going to.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on it. Yeah, it was a weird change. I still think the buggies need a price increase. They're like 90 points, which just seems really cheap.
They are spicy.
They've got like insane movement. They've got the war effects. They each have their own absolutely banana stuff. Like the squig buggy is still artillery, like strength 6 -2 flat 2 damage. It's still really good. Even like if you can only run 3,
only coming up against 3, yeah.
Yeah. I still feel they need to, you know, bump them up to like maybe 5 or 10 points a month. I think that seems. The one disappointment was that because I'd hoped that everything else that got nerfed also got buffed in other ways to bring other stuff in line. I had hoped, like maybe just a tiny piece of me was hoping that maybe they would adjust the troops, like Gretchen and Orc Boys and Snagger Boys or whatever, so that they don't eat the poo-poo. But they
eat the poo-poo.
Yeah, they eat the poo-poo.
Eat the poo-poo.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, maybe with these changes and with all these new army changes from everywhere else, people will come up with a viable way to run troops. I'm still going to run 40 Beast Snagger Boys and a bunch of the Squig Hog Boys because I like the models and they're fun and they're not like Imperial Guard trash tier, but they're decent. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Maybe it's just a case of wait and see what people come up with, and in the meantime, play what I've got.
Well, I mean, ultimately, they said the whole idea behind this was to shake the meta up. If it doesn't shake the meta up, then they've ultimately failed. So you would like to think, like you say, like Dan said, that this has been in the workings for a little bit of time. I mean, I'm not going to say and hope to say that they've said they've play tested it, but
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
I
Games
don't
Workshop
think they've play tested
No.
it. I think they've probably sent it out
Okay.
to the YouTuber playtesters, and I think the YouTuber playtesters have submitted their response to it. But from historical information, they take the information that the YouTuber playtesters give them and throw it directly in the trash, and do not actually make any changes to stuff before they release it, even if they've received feedback for it. So, yeah.
Time will tell.
Yeah, pretty much that's it. Time will tell. See how people do at tournaments, see how it affects your games at your local game store and at your kitchen table. And the best we can do is hope for a more balanced meta.
Interestingly, the armies that have been left alone.
Don't get me started.
Eldar.
You make me upset.
And Tau.
Well,
And Custodians.
Eldar,
And GSC.
and State of the Cult. Two of which we know have got codex
and
In
Tyranid.
December. Oh, and Tyranids, yeah. But Tyranids just got their fancy
Tyranids.
book, didn't they?
Yeah.
They just got their shitty DLC.
Yeah, they got their DLC before they even got the main game. You guys still there?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm like internally crying about these bullshit.
It went very
DLC
quiet. I thought it got DC'd.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully that means that their rules are coming soon. I feel like the reason, like I mentioned to a lot of people, that a lot of the armies that got changes made to them are armies that are not getting any new rules anytime soon. So, and you know, Eldar, Tau, and Chaos Space Marines, as well as GSC and Custodians are all getting new codexes in like the next 6 or so months. So it kind of makes sense that they wouldn't change them before their codex comes out, because then the rules would just be irrelevant. But yeah, I think that's all we got. Anything else anyone wants to add?
I don't know. Make Wraith Knights playable, please.
Well, we'll see what your codex does.
And can we make Predators a thing again?
Predators?
I feel
Predators are just utter garbage at the minute.
I feel like Predators have been replaced with...
Predators are so shit, I forgot they're even a unit for Space Marines.
I think expecting anything to happen with Firstborn Marine models is just not going to happen. I think they want everybody to be able to use their Firstborn Marine models and stuff, but they couldn't give two shits about changing them to make them viable. They want you to buy the primary stuff.
Yeah.
I can see them going Legacy eventually.
Yeah. So if you want to play Predators, then I'm sorry, but you've got to buy the Gladiator or the Valiant or the whatever the floaty tanks.
They look fucking cool, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, Predators. Anything that's Firstborn is not going to get any changes unless that changes a legend at the end of the name.
It's just the fact that the Sisters get a better Predator than the fucking Space Marines do.
Who's that?
The Sisters of Battle.
Do they?
They've got a better Predator. Yeah, they've got that. They got the new Predator kit with the big.
The Castigator.
Cannon or... Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a new model.
But it's the Predator. It's a Predator.
Nah, bro, it's not. It's a Castigator.
Oh, sorry, they changed the name.
I mean, let me have a look at the model.
I think it uses the same chassis though. Yeah.
It's a Rhino chassis with a different turret.
With a different turret, yeah. Yeah, I
And then side
think GW are
like a
just going to
Predator.
tell you to suck shit and buy the new Primaris models if
Oh,
you want.
without Shadow, I know.
Yeah.
Without Shadow.
No, other than that, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you everybody for listening in. You can join us for our next podcast next Sunday at 7 p.m. We will be talking about why you should play a faction of James's liking. He has yet to decide because we have yet to tell him.
Fucking hell. Jesus.
And then you can join us next Thursday at 7 p.m. for our live streamed battle report. We will be playing the Harlequins and Craft Worlds, whatever you call it, soup de whoop, against the Custodes. I have sent a list through to Dan. I was thinking of just playing the same list as usual, but I'm going to see if I can very quickly throw some Ulthuan Grey on a bunch of models and bring some Gladius tanks and Palace tanks. Maybe play a different Custodes list so that I have a little bit of variety. But we'll see if I have time to do that. That's it. If you want to catch us, you can join our Discord with the link below that I mentioned at the start of the video. Please subscribe and like the video and press the bell. It is meant to get seen by the algorithm.
Please, if you don't do it, my kids will starve.
We're already starving. Other than that, thank you everyone for listening in and joining in. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
All right.
Bye.